Hey everyone, welcome to this video. This is take number 30. Not actually, but it feels like it. I'm doing this video completely raw just because I just don't want to edit it. And I feel like there's more of a personal touch to it when you don't edit it. Also, I hope you can hear me. If you can't, I do have a little Lavielle mic if I need it, but I hope I don't need it. It's nice just being one-on-one with the camera. Today I'm going to be talking about my channel, and I'm going to be talking about the reintroduction. So I made a video a few years ago about what I was planning to do with my channel, but that didn't work out, mostly because I didn't think that it was a good idea, or it just didn't work for what I thought my channel should be used for. So that's actually what I'm going to be talking about, is the structure of my channel currently. If you go into my channel right now, you'll see that it's organized into 8 categories, and that's the wellness wheel. The first one being social. It's the one that we lack the most. We're not really good at socializing with people nowadays. Me personally, I'm okay with it. I used to train people, but I'm not as good as I used to be. Definitely something that we can all work on. And it's because of social media and the internet and technology and being on our phones all the time. We've lost that connection that we used to have with people. It's not like we were born 100 or 200 years ago and we have that window into that idea. We've lost it. And even the older generation can see it too, but one day we won't have them. One day it'll just be the people who had technology. They were born with it, they were raised with it, and they were raised by it. That's an idea that blows my mind, but it's going to happen. And then after that is intellectual wellness. That's one that I just personally can't fill too much. It's not like I'm dumb or anything, but I am in that way. Especially for the mental health components. Those components are filled more by people with a higher understanding. And so I make sure to keep that to them, and I hope that they help other people too. That's why I made the playlist. So 8 wellness factors. I personally will be covering mostly the physical nature of wellness. I have a whole plan on it. I'll cover that in a minute, but first I would like to cover why I did this. It's mainly because we're not taught it in school. In North America specifically, maybe in other parts of the world, we're not taught about how to take care of ourselves. We're really just taught math, science, art, and all the other things, geography. I'm bad with geography, I'm directionally stupid, but it's not as useful as you'd imagine in real life. Yes, it is, but it's only useful up to a certain degree. But something that I learned through training people is that people don't know how to take care of themselves, and so that's something that I learned about myself. It's kind of why I stopped training people, is that if I don't know how to take care of myself, how am I supposed to take care of another person, right? So that's why I had to take a break from taking care of people, and that's why I'm focusing mostly on wellness. I will actually be focusing on a physical component in the gym. So right now I'm in the wild. This is my quiet spot. I'm kind of hoping people don't hear me, but if they do, whatever. Well, hopefully not today, because I don't want them interrupting my video. Got the nice stream, got the squirrels coming every so often. I threw some nuts. I hope they don't come after me for feeding the animals, but it's relaxing. This has helped me greatly with my mental health. Nature. I love it. It's great. So yeah, we're not really taught about wellness in school, and so I really wish that we were. The direction of my channel, like I said, will be covering mainly the physical component, and I'll primarily be covering the physical component on something that I wrote called, it's even got my little logo on it, The Beginner's Guide to Exercise. I'm quite proud of it. I wrote it because I realized that people don't know how to take care of themselves. We never were taught, and most injuries are preventable. We, as a society, do not focus on preventative measures. That is something that I'm learning greatly right now. We don't focus on them whatsoever. And there's an election coming up next year, and the one thing that blows my mind is that none of these politicians are talking about preventative measures. They're just talking about we're going to axe the tax. Honestly, let's get out of politics. I hate politics. It's just not something I vibe with. But anyways, I'm going to be covering the physical wellness. And so some of those things that I'm going to be covering mainly is how to pretty much avoid early mortality, so death, injury, how to avoid injury, understanding realistic and unrealistic goals, because trust me, as a previous, actually, I guess you could call me an addict still. I love coming out here, so I love the quiet. I'm addicted to doing nothing now. But as someone who is addicted to almost everything that he did, you really got to come up with some realistic and unrealistic goals for yourself. To start, maybe you just can't stop that addiction. Maybe it's ruling your life. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe you need help. But the problem is most people can't afford it. And so things like, sadly, I don't like saying it in my video, but BetterHelp exists, except their business practices. That's why I'll never, ever use it. Mostly because of their privacy policies. I've heard a lot of sketchy things about the therapists. Again, that's another aspect of wellness, but I'm going to not get into it too much right now. Gaining and maintaining what you get, or what you achieve, that's important. A lot of people are so focused on the up that they don't know how to maintain, or to even take a little break. A little break isn't always a bad thing. You got to make sure that you go up and maintain, and take a little bit of a break. But when you go down, that's usually either because you're stopping or you've hurt yourself, and you've got to stop. But most people don't stop. A lot of people wear sleeves. Like me, I wore, actually, I'll get into that in another video, but I'll talk about myself in that specific context in that video. But for now, we're going to stick to the general stuff. And then also understanding the importance of your functional well-being. So we are biomechanical beings. We are meant to move, but we're also meant to sit, we're meant to lay, and we're meant to stand, walk, all of the in-between. I'll be talking about that in another video too, because we're just not taught about that. So that's the beginner's guide. I'll be talking about the extreme basics in the beginner's guide, even the exercises that correspond to how our bodies function. I'll be talking about the joint regions that would be affected, the muscles that would be affected, and then the specific muscles. But then, what I will probably do in the future, and this is actually going to take some time, so I'll be releasing one video a week, starting. This video will hopefully be released on May 1st, because I want to try and start anew. Every week for the next, I would say, 11 weeks, I'll be posting, 10 weeks, I'll be posting a video. And then at the end, if you like my content, if you have questions, concerns, or anything else, obviously you can leave a comment, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on the comments, and we can do a Q&A. We can do it live stream. I've never done that before. That'd be pretty cool. I just have to figure out how I would do it. I'd probably do it out here, mainly because why wouldn't I? And yeah, I just hope it's good weather. Anyways, so in the future, after that Q&A, then, I don't have it with me now, but I would then cover all of my intermediate program. So it's a program where I teach people how to create their own program based on you, based on your unique circumstances, on your goals. But it's relatively basic, but that's kind of the point. For a beginner to understand how to program plan, you need those first initial baby steps in order to understand those complex topics such as periodization. It's not an easy one to understand at first. When I was first taught it, I don't think anyone did super well on that when I was in my schooling. It's interesting. It's got a lot of different variabilities to it, but that's like exercise in itself. So many variables. And that's another thing that I'd be covering in the intermediate program, are all the variables. Actually, not all of them, but most of them. I hope, anyways. That's my skepticism brain working at an overdrive. Yeah, so that's the direction. That's what I want to do with my channel. The intermediate program, so after the 11 weeks, including that Q&A, that in itself would take, I think I said, so that would roll then into 27 weeks. So that would be November. So from May to November, I'll be releasing videos based on what I've been writing for the past 5 years. Because I started writing my beginner's guide in 2018. It was complete trash when I first started writing it, but every year I made it better. Now I think it's the best that I can personally make it. Maybe one day in the future someone else can help me make it even better, but I actually hope that maybe one day this kind of thing can be integrated into an educational program, like, you know, our school system. Because kids, like, gym sucks. Gym's not a great thing in school. I remember taking gym. So many kids hurt themselves, didn't know how to fix their bodies, which I guess, yeah, there's specialists for that, but does there have to be? Even the specialists that I've worked with barely know how to fix their own bodies. So that's, again, an aspect of skepticism that I like to keep under my belt, because even if someone's built and strong, I like to think to myself, did you have help, or did you learn this yourself? There's too many questions to ask. I know a few people who are fantastic trainers, who are amazing at what they do, but again, a few, I would have to say it's at least 5% of the trainers that I worked with were great. So not the best statistic, I would say. Anyways, the goal of my channel at this moment is really to utilize you as a community. Use your skepticism. I need your feedback. I need your help. Maybe I don't. Who knows? Maybe I'm already doing well. Maybe what you are going to learn from me is what you need. That's fantastic. But maybe some bigger YouTubers can say, hey, Eric, you fucked up. Yeah, I'm going to swear a little bit. But that's just because of what I used to do. People used to swear at me all the time. And so sometimes they were like, why are you swearing? So anyways, except I had to be really careful, especially with some of my clients. So I learned a lot when I was training people. I'll talk about that in the future. So I'm going to get to the structure of the videos now. So this video specifically is going to go into the general knowledge and skepticism playlist. That's going to be in, I think, intellectual. Yeah, it's in intellectual wellness. I really hope that the YouTube algorithm points this video into someone's direction, because maybe not this one specifically, but I'm hoping that in the future, any of the videos that I do make is something that you might need. I'm just hoping that I'm not doing this for no reason. You know what I mean? So anyways, here, let me get to this, to get to the format or the structure, because I ramble way too much. And me talking, I usually see squirrels around this spot. I actually threw some nuts. There's none, probably because I'm talking, but afterwards I'll get my squirrel moment. So first and foremost, this will be in the first week, so May 1st. This will be this video. The second week will then be basic exercise knowledge, where I'm pretty much just going to cover all the basics of all of the exercise stuff. Actually, I'm going to basic exercise. And I am so sorry that my writing sucks. I'll go into why I'm not editing my videos in another video, but this is how we're doing it. Actually, I quite enjoy it. So basic exercise knowledge. It's important just to know the basics. Even if you just watch that one video, say, ugh, I'm done with it. And that should actually be enough, because I'll be talking about the difference between standing too much and sitting too much. I'll be talking about the importance of flexibility, mobility, the importance of exercise. Everyone should exercise and maintain their functional and muscular strength throughout life. It doesn't, okay, no, it doesn't matter greatly on what kind of exercise you do, but just keep in mind that, like, at some point in your life, you may lose the ability to raise your arms overhead and put stuff into top cupboards. You don't want to lose that ability. And the weird part is, you might overtrain that ability and pull your back. You might get strains all the time because maybe you're overdoing something. That in itself is another video that's going to be way further down the line. It's probably going to be in, actually I can tell you right now, that'll be closer to week biomechanics. So that will start in week 17. I'll actually be covering injury prevention and basic recovery in week 15, but that'll be another video. So basic exercise knowledge, I'll be teaching you the basics about what you need and why you need it. because most people think, oh, exercise, you have a choice. Okay, sure, yeah, you are your own person. That's fantastic. Great understanding. But just keep in mind that will catch up with you one day. And the majority of the people that I worked with in my career were people who waited a little too long, and they either had injuries or they just couldn't do what I told them to. And so I had to work with them in an extremely basic manner, which thankfully I'm a slow person anyways. I'm basically a sloth personality. I don't know if you guys do the animal thing. I guess everyone's different, but I like to think of myself as a sloth. I'm able to sit and do nothing for a very long period of time. That's why this is my favorite spot. Yeah, so anyways, rambling. After that, and the next week after that, so this will be week 3? Week 3. 2, mobility and flexibility. I already actually covered this in the stretching videos, but I'll be covering it even deeper because it needs to be covered deeper. I'm not going to remove my videos that I currently have up because actually I looked them over and they're alright, they're good. Back then I was way more flexible, and in this video, I'll be explaining why I'm not so flexible anymore. There is such thing as overdoing and underdoing everything. There is good balance, but we as a society are not taught how to maintain that balance. It's usually those who are able to pay for the knowledge who have that understanding. And I'm sick of it. I'm completely sick of it. So that's why I'm making these videos for free. So here you go. So I'll be covering mobility, flexibility, my personal and professional experiences. Then after that, I'll be covering, oh, whoops, I screwed up. Basic. All right, so 3. So this will be the 3rd video that I post. Will be on training for health, fitness, performance, and just to be clear, I'm actually not a performance athlete, and goal setting. Yeah, I'm not a performance athlete whatsoever. I was always a general functional health and wellness trainer, just teaching people about the basics of how to take care of their body. It took me a really long time actually to learn about muscular balance. That was actually one of the last things that I really learned due to an injury that I had last year. It wasn't a bad injury, thank God. It was very easily recoverable. But if I had not learned what I had learned actually before that, it was a compilation of what I had learned. The injury probably would have been significantly worse, and I actually could have probably disabled myself completely. So I'll talk about that in that video. Actually, I might actually talk about that in this video. Mobility, flexibility, because it's actually in more relation to that. But training for health, fitness, performance, and goal setting, I'll really just be talking about the difference and about how progress happens, because we all think that progress sometimes happens like that. No, we have to think about it in the way of we exercise, we take a break, then we go back to it. But we don't always do the same intensity. We might do the same intensity and maybe increase that intensity over a period of time, but then after a little while, you want to actually take it easy on yourself. You want your body to recover. And that's long-term recovery. There's short-term recovery, long-term recovery, and then I call it long-term recovery. So when you take a break after a while to allow your body to actually take in what you've done, that's when you actually see the most amount of progress. Sure, you'll come back and you'll feel like, oh, I don't want to come back. You might even feel a little weaker, but it's after those few weeks when you will be the strongest. Maybe not after the few weeks, but then the build-up. At the end, you'll be your strongest. Right? That's better. That's better. Gotta love raw content, am I right? All right, so that's number 3. Number 4 will be sedentary behaviors. The importance of moving. And I really hope you guys enjoy the silence, because that is something that I had to learn to enjoy. I'll come back to this in a second. This is important. Like I said at the beginning, I think I said it in this one anyways, I've done a few takes. I've been addicted to almost everything that I've done. One of those things was watching TV, listening to music, movies, man, video games. I was addicted to almost everything that I did. I didn't know how to put it down, and every time I put it down, my brain was chaos. I didn't know what to do with myself. And so it was actually Dr. K, a Healthy Gamer GG, who taught me to do nothing, to stare at a blank wall. That one I had a really hard time with. That's actually why I started coming out here. I'd rather stare at trees. I actually now stare at blank walls. It's way more easier. Way easier. That makes more sense. But I mean, it took time. It really was a progression. It wasn't just an easy jump. I wish it was an easy jump, but life's not easy. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. So sedentary behaviors, I'll really be covering in that why moving is important and how muscle grows. Muscle grows at rest. That's something that we're not taught. We're always taught, you got to do work. You got to work hard. You got to be productive. Productiveness is only so good, and then you have to take a break. If you don't take a break, that's actually when injury happens, is when you overwork. It can also happen when you underwork, but man, there's so much information on the internet, and that's why I'm going to try my best to debunk a lot of that. I learned a lot in my 11 years of exercise and 6.5 years of training people, so I need to put it out there. I need everyone to understand that muscle grows at rest. I'll say that again in that video, but if you've made it this far in this video, that's a very good thing to know. You also need to know that you don't always need to lift heavy. Lifting heavy, well, you see the videos of everyone lifting heavy, but that's a moment. That's a moment in time for that person, and they're not always doing that. If they were to always do that, they'd be a mess. They wouldn't be as big as they are, or as strong as they are, or as capable. They know what to do. Up until a certain point. Like, I mean, even big guys can hurt themselves. I've seen it. I've seen people tear their chest completely in a bench press because they just did the bench too much. And that timeline was a slow, gradual build. It wasn't just a whoop, and then it was a slow, gradual build where they just did a little too much. And then all of a sudden they put on that extra 1.1 kilo, and then done. They're out for a year to 2 years, maybe even longer because of the type of injury. So anyways, could be a break of bone. Actually, break of bone usually happens when there's too much weight, or sorry, how do I put this? Usually you break a bone if you, sudden impact. And when you have sudden impact, you can also relate that to going into a, let's say, 225 pound squat, but you've never done a squat before in your fucking life. And then all of a sudden, the pressure just brings you down and things break because you were cocky. You just didn't respect the process. And so that's how that happens. Anyways, sedentary behaviors, that's that. Video number 5 will then be hydration. It's a boring topic, but I find that I have to repeat this a lot to clients. For people in general, drinking water is important. Hydration. That one's easy. You got to drink water. We are 60 to 70% water, and that number fluctuates. If you don't drink water, you do get dry mouth, but you can also become fatigued, tired, drowsy. Like if you drive and you don't drink water, that's actually how some accidents happen, is the fact that you don't have water, water retention. Then actually hydration, and then the next one, number 6, will be about nutrition, diet nutrition. In order to retain water, you need something to retain it. That includes food, but it also includes salt. We are under the impression with all the advertisements and things in our face saying, oh, you can't eat too much salt or you shouldn't eat salt at all. I had clients who came to me and was like, I don't have any salt in my diet. They were always dizzy, fatigued, had the weirdest symptoms. They would go to their doctors, but the blood test sometimes doesn't pick it up for some reason. I don't know the full thing about that, but I had to tell them from my own experience, eat salt. It scared the crap out of them. They were like, no, I gotta avoid salt. They had this misconception that salt was bad for them. Yes, the dose is the poison. You should have it in your diet still, though. That's why it's good to talk to someone who knows about these things, who may have experienced it. And I hope that one day, maybe in the future, we as a society don't have to experience these things in order to figure it out the hard way. But actually, I think there's a blissful ignorance to not having that experience. I don't know if I said that right, but again, I'll just forget that. I'm just pretend I didn't say that. Like I said, this is a raw video. Here we go. Okay, so number 6, diet and nutrition. I didn't write it. I was too busy talking. Diet and nutrition. Oh, and I'll also go over in that video. Oh, God, I spelled that wrong. Distraction. Nutrition. Okay. I'll be talking about my personal experiences with nutrition because I got a lot of personal experiences with nutrition. I got some problems myself. There's actually, I realized that it wasn't just my addictions that limited my progress, but it was also the fact that I couldn't eat certain things. And I learned that the hard way. I lived most of my life with digestive problems. And my family can vouch for that one because, yeah, that's another story for another video. So diet and nutrition, extremely important. But I think people misunderstand the importance. Some people overeat and think that, oh, I'm going to eat a lot and gain muscle. That's not how that works. I wish. that would make my life way easier. Okay, so this is actually where things get a little more complicated. I'm not going to be releasing these videos all in one video because this is where I start talking about exercise in itself. I use this exercise checklist that I made, the old one, and I actually think the old one is still important because you need to have a basic understanding before you can have an advanced understanding or an intermediate understanding, hence the intermediate program. But I mean, okay, here we go. Basic weightlifting, or I'll call it basics of weightlifting. And so that will be broken up into 3 videos, technically 4. So the 3 videos will be covering upper body. So upper body exercises. Actually, I'll write everything first. Lower body. Core. That's a bad C. I'll just scribble that out. Core body. And then after that, I'll be talking about, what did you say? You know what? I won't even put that in. Not yet anyways. So basics of weightlifting. I'll be teaching you about the upper body exercises, the lower body exercises, and the core body exercises. It's not going to be super easy, but I mean, it'll just be the basics of the movements. I hope that helps to start. Definitely take it easy on yourself and don't use these videos as like an exercise routine. I'm not really teaching you about how to create an exercise routine in these videos. I'm just teaching you about how exercise works. If you've already got your own exercise routine and you're feeling good and you're doing good, awesome. Hopefully maybe this will supplement and maybe you'll learn something. If you don't know anything, if you're still learning, I still recommend that you move and exercise, but there are other videos out there. My videos are going to take time to release. I can't just rush this. This isn't something I can or want to rush because I want to actually do good on these videos. Most of these videos are going to be raw, but I'm actually going to see if I can edit a few of them, mostly because I want them to be easy to watch. This is general knowledge and skepticism, so I mean, it's not exactly something that I'm too worried about looking pretty. I mean, look at where I am. I think it's pretty, but in the video it might not be the prettiest, but whatever. Oh, and 1080p. I hope you are not expecting the prettiest of videos. I need this camera to last, so hey, I've got it on a mid-range setting. So that's the basic weightlifting. That's extremely important because it's our movement. It's what I used to teach for a living. And then, lastly, yeah, this will be the last one. There's only 8? Yeah, there's only 8. Okay, well, I guess with these, it'll make more than 8. But then I'll be teaching you about the importance of self-discipline. Because that is extremely important. Oh, spelling discipline wrong. I don't even think I'm going to rewatch this video before I post it. I'm just going to go, okay, so yeah, the importance of self-discipline. There's a lot of factors to cover here too. And it's not just one or two. I've got a list. And so I'll be covering that list in that video. Like I said at the beginning, this curriculum was more like maybe like a workshop so that I work with people one-on-one. I had to adjust and make it more understandable in a video setting, which in turn might actually make this a little bit better. So I think that it's extremely important that we learn that we mostly lack this. Most people aren't disciplined. Most people don't know how to step away from their phone and breathe. Most people don't know how to do nothing and enjoy it. I personally don't completely always enjoy it, but I do find that when I've had my moments of silence, I'm a lot more clearer up here. I can think more clearly. I can breathe more easily. It just really gives me a better hold of myself, which is something that I can't say I used to have. I am way more clear-minded than I used to be. I like to think anyway. Some people might say I'm crazy, but that's their opinion, and I'll leave it at that. And then after that, I will do my Q&A. So I guess I'll write that in 9. Q&A. There, I almost screwed that up. Q&A. So you ask me questions, I try my best to answer them. I will try my best to stay within my scope of practice. I'm not a doctor. I studied fitness and health promotion. That's sort of why, though, I'm following the wellness wheel, because even in my schooling, we didn't cover it that much. We covered it, we learned about it, and when I went to school, there were only 7 factors of wellness. Then, that was in 2013? Yeah, I graduated in 2016. After that, now there's 8. So that includes now occupational wellness. That's the one that was added. The wellness wheel started off with 2, your physical wellness and your spiritual wellness. That's all there was. It's added a lot since then, and that's because we've needed it. We need our financial understanding. We need to know how to manage our money. We're not taught about that in school, which is pretty dumb in my opinion. But that's where that's another topic for another day. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. This video is probably way longer than I thought it would be. But I am so happy that I did this, and I didn't have to stop it as many times as I wanted, or as I had to. Anyways, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you want to stay subscribed and see the content that I have to release, I will be releasing these videos on Wednesdays. I'll be trying my best to record as many as I possibly can at the moment of. It's a beautiful day, so I'm probably actually going to do this video now. Yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Have a great day. Now I'm going to stop the video.